Hello, Alex. My name is Caleb from KSL. Welcome to Utah. How have your first couple weeks here been?
Cold.
Fair.
Yeah, getting used to that again, but they've honestly been awesome. The mountains are beautiful. Being back in like the cold, crisp morning air, that's like weird, but like something I really enjoy. And then obviously like the team and the staff and the facilities have been so amazing, beyond any expectation I had coming in. I think they've just gone above and beyond to make me feel very welcome, and it's a safe environment, and so that has been very refreshing for me.
So now that you've been here and you've got like a taste for what it's like, what are your expectations for this season, both personally and for this team?
Yeah, I think personally my goal right now is just to get healthy again. I'm 9 months post-op from an ACL, so just working on that, and supporting the team in any way that I can. I think last year gave me a really great perspective on different roles and how important they are, and so just however I can help, whether that's picking up equipment, whether that's offering a ride, or any sort of little thing. It may seem little, but it goes a long way, and so really just that's my goal, is to get healthy and then help this team on the field when I can, and then especially off the field.
When can we hope to see you on the field?
Hopefully around April. Yeah.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Alex, nice to meet you. My name's Sean.
Nice to meet you.
Does it feel like you've been living out of a suitcase for the past few years?
Kind of, a little bit. But that's the lifestyle and the nature of our job. Very up and at it whenever you get called to, and so I would say my cats are probably a little bit more upset about that than me. But otherwise, it's been fun being in different places, getting to experience different cultures in the areas, and the different people and food, and just everything about the different states has been really fun.
So as a professional athlete, is that kind of how you deal with the thrashing of being grabbed by clubs? I mean, for those who maybe don't know, started with KC, they extended your contract 3 years beyond your rookie season, and then Bay comes along and snatches you, and then Utah snatches you. Is that kind of how you deal with the thrashing, is just finding things within the culture, within maybe the team dynamic that just make it pleasant, or what else do you do? What tools do you have in your bag?
Yeah, I think anytime you go to a different place, you have to have an open mind. So I think that's something I really try to do. I really don't like the cold, but I have an open mind coming here, and that means I get to get a lot of different cute clothes. And so that's a plus about coming here. So yeah, you're right, just finding little things little good things that come out of each place.
The bummer as a professional athlete is you can't ski or snowboard.
No.
Contractually, you're not allowed, so.
Well, I couldn't even do that if I was an athlete, because I don't know how. But I grew up in Colorado, so that's crazy.
But for the fans, the casual fans, or maybe the fans that'll be new to you, can you just describe for them what your playing style is like? What can we expect to see out of Alex on the pitch?
Yeah, I'm a passer. Passers pass and dribblers dribble, and I'm a passer. I really like to distribute. I like to kind of insert myself into like that pulse of the team. If we're getting a little hectic, I like to bring us back. If we need to push a little bit more, I like to be that example and kind of set the tone. I would say I'm a bit more of an aggressive player. I like to get into tackles, and I like to set the tone. So I would say I kind of feel a little bit unpredictable sometimes. With my vision, I feel like that's one of my biggest strengths. And so yeah, I guess just unpredictable. I like to be on the ball and do what I can.
Well, and that sounds perfect too, because we've heard from the other players that what Jimmy's looking for is a lot of unpredictable nature out of this team too, going into the season. So you fit perfectly. So welcome and thank you.
I hope so. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Stockton. Nice to meet you too. So how have you been gelling with the team so far?
I love these girls. Honestly, it's been so amazing. There's no cliques on this team. Everybody, I feel comfortable going and sitting with anybody and everybody on this team, and so I think that what's super important to the girls on this team is a culture, and just our culture off the field, I think that reflects a lot on the field. And so already we've had like team get-togethers outside of the field, and just they're so goofy and fun to be around. And I think that's one of my favorite things is just how welcoming and nice and kind all of the girls are.
Awesome. And the coaching staff is larger than it was for the Royals last year. I don't know how it is compared to the rest of the league, but how has the coaching staff been so far?
They've been amazing. They're very direct, I think, which is something that I really appreciate, is just a coach that is transparent and direct. And sometimes I'm not going to like what they're going to say, but they're not saying it to be mean or hurtful. They're saying it to help me grow in my game, and I think that's something that a lot of athletes can appreciate. They've been one of the biggest focal points for them is team culture and cohesivity. Is that a word? Or did I just make that?
It is now.
Cohesiveness!
It's on record.
Don't put that on record. Just the cohesiveness of not only the girls, but staff included, and I think that goes a really long way when it comes to success of a team. When everybody has the same goal in mind, everybody, wants to know the person before the player. I think that's how you get the best player, and Jimmy knows that, and he's done a really great job of implementing that in all of our sessions so far, is making sure that we understand the person before we get the player.
Awesome, thank you.
Bit of a volatile year last year here for the Royals. I just am curious how this club is viewed from outside our little bubble.
Yeah, I think you can only go up from here. I think that's something that's super important, and it was our first year. You're gonna have years like that, and I think to hold a team to that standard and that notion around them, I don't think that is fair, and I don't think that gives the Royals as much credit as they deserve. They were competing for a playoff spot come the end of the year. My prior team, we lost to them both times we played them. They're very unpredictable, and they're gritty and they're determined, and I think if you only focus on the record, you miss how the team plays, because more often than not, the score doesn't reflect the actual game. And so I think to hold on to that and only view the Royals as what took place at the beginning half of the season is kind of crazy, and you're kind of missing the point of sports and growth. And so, we can just go up from here, and that's exciting.
I think the Royals won 8 of the last 13 games after Jimmy took over. What's his reputation, and how exciting is it for you and everybody else to kind of have a full preseason to build that foundation going into the year?
Yeah, I think, like you said, you already saw what Jimmy has started to do with the little amount of time that he did have in the season. And so to have these preseason meetings where it's so vital to have our principles, our culture, just every little detail. He's so focused on the little details, and sometimes coaches can overlook the little details, but that's like the best thing to focus on right now is the culture. Yes, the soccer will come, the relationships on the field will come, but he's so focused on, like I said, knowing the person before the player, and that's how you get the best player, is when you really understand the person. And I think that is overlooked so much because everyone just wants the good player, the good, most talented player, and when they don't fit into a group, it's kind of difficult to get that out of them. And so he's just really focused on culture, and I can't say it enough. That's so important, and so it's exciting that he has this whole time to build this culture and this team, and to just do what he does best.
Last question from me. In your wildest dreams, did you ever think Denver would get an NWSL team?
I honestly did, because there's so much talent
Yeah.
that comes out of Denver, and there's so many young soccer players that are so good there that I was like, it'll come. I didn't expect it to come this soon, but that's exciting, and it's another place, where we have to go and struggle in altitude, but it's fun, and it's a fun environment. They've got the outdoors, and they've got good restaurants and places to visit, and so I think it'll be a really great spot.
Thank you.
Last appearing internationally for the USU 23 team, is there any possibility of joining the Mexican national team?
I was actually talking to Macy about that on the way here, so that's funny that you asked that. But I have been thinking about that. It's been very heavy on my mind. I really like how Emma Hayes has come in and invited new players, young players, and really just stirred things up. I think that is such a great move to come in, and obviously it's a younger team, but they're so amazing and talented players. But at the same time, so is Mexico, and I've spoke to the Mexican national team coach, and he's been really great, and he's been very direct about wanting me and wanting to see where I fit in with the team, and so I'm in the process of getting my Mexican passport. So it is a very likely option for me, yeah.
Cool, thank you. We'll open up to the students. Any questions for the class? Go ahead.
I feel like we've seen a lot of your personality, like even just through this interview, which is awesome. So like, what does it mean to you to like stay true to yourself and like at this level, and like what does it mean to you to like be a woman athlete and like set that example for like younger girls who like want to be pro soccer players, and like what does it mean to stay true to yourself like in this position?
Yeah, that's a great question. I honestly think every single one of us are made so unique, and to try to conform to what other people want us to be, especially as female athletes, I think everyone has this idea of what they want us to look like and how they want us to play, and they want us to say all the right things and do all the right things, but at the end of the day, we're human, and we're all different, and that's what's so great about it, is we can all come together and be different people and different personalities and come together to just be this amazing group. And so I think it's so important because you do get younger women in that come into this league, and so it's important that they see people. It's okay to be authentic, it's okay to be yourself. It's actually encouraged. So like that's how you get the best players, is when you know them as people. So if you can get them out of their shell and showing their personality, I think honestly that's the best. And so I just try to be that, just be my most authentic self all the time.
You're killing it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I was wondering, how much do you feel like an environment affects how you play? Because as it's been brought up, you've been a lot of different places. Would you say that you've been able to stick to a singular way of playing, or that you've adjusted and there's been learning each time you've made a move?
Yeah, I think it does make it a little challenging when you're going from place to place. It is definitely hard, but I think just knowing who I am and what my values and what my morals are as a person, but also as a teammate and a player, I think that no matter where you go, yes, you're going to have to adjust to different playing styles. Someone who comes from a very direct team to this team who's very possession oriented, I think you're going to have those adaptations and you have to adjust. But I think as long as you have an open mindset, as long as you're willing to learn and willing to get critiqued, I think you can really thrive in any area, as long as you fall back on who you are as a person, but also as a player.
Thank you. Sorry.
This one kind of piggybacks off what Graham asked, but like as someone who thrives as a facilitator, how do you acclimate your specific skill set to like a brand new team with players you aren't as familiar with, and especially considering you're coming off of injury?
Yeah, tough. I think it's about patience. I think it's really, you're not going to build those relationships overnight, and it's definitely not going to happen in the first 2 to 3 weeks of you all being together. And especially, it is kind of hard for me just not being able to like be in the drills where those relationships and those player-to-player relationships are growing. I think that's definitely difficult, but I think for me, it falls back on film work, going to watch film so that I can see, what Brecken's tendency is, what Allie likes, what does Kate like, what do they prefer, what does Anna prefer. It's difficult, and it takes a little bit more intentional effort from me to, go home and watch film for 2 to 3 hours after I was just doing rehab and, my own IDP stuff. So I guess it's just about intentionality, how much you want to know your teammates, and I think I'm someone who really enjoys film, so I could watch it that long and not have a problem with it.
Time for one more.
Kind of going off of that just the same theme of you being a lot of places the past couple of years. How have the connections that you've made and all the experience that you've gained on these different teams not just shaped how you play, but also your relationship with the game?
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite parts is building the relationships with the girls, but then also the coaches. And I think I've had a couple really great experiences with a couple of the places that I've been. And so just being able to learn from each different place. Every coach has their own style, they're very unique. So it's just really taking what I can from each place that I've been, each team, all the girls, what can I learn here, and bring it all together to really just show up as the best person and the best teammate and player. I think that's really important to me.